Video begins, guys, I'd just like to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel and leave a like at the end of the video if you enjoy watching. Welcome back to another video, guys. So today we will be creating what I think the AFL 2023 premiership ladder will look like by the end of the regular season. So as you can see, I got the tier list open here. So I got wooden spoon down the bottom. We then got 17th to 15th, 14th to 12th, 11th to 9th, 8th to 6th, 15th to 3rd, 2nd, 1st, so minor premiers. We then got who I think will be the grand finalists and who the premiers will be for the 2023 season. So we'll start off with who I think will win the wooden spoon this year. I shouldn't say win because no team wants it in the league, but I do think after an okay season last year and after a bit of, I don't know, I think the Hawks will take the wooden spoon. I think this year's going to be a real down year for them. So yeah, I'm going to put the Hawks at 18th spot. So for the 17th spot, so I'll go in order going to the right of your screen. I think Adelaide, I think I'm going to put in 17th position. I think after an okay season last year, however, finishing low on the ladder, this year they're still going to be trying to find some steps. They've got some good young players. So yeah, I'm going to put them at 17th. And for 16th, I am going to put, I hope they do a bit better, but I'm going to put North Melbourne at 16th. Yeah, so North Melbourne at 16th. Can I move that there? No, I can't. So yeah, we're going to put North Melbourne at 16th. Just above the Crows. North Melbourne had a very disappointing season last year. So hopefully they can turn it around this year and do a little bit better. I think they won the wooden spoon last year. So I think anywhere up from that is good for them. And then, I think GWS is who I'm going to put at 15th spot. GWS had a disappointing season last year compared to the 2021 season where they finished in the top 8. So I think this year will be a similar year for them and they will finish low-ish on the table. So I'm going to put them at 15th. For 14th position, I think I'm going to go St Kilda. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to put St Kilda at 14th position. I think they finished 11th last year, so I think they'll drop a little bit. They have a couple of decent players retiring or who have retired from last season. They do have some good young talent, but I don't think they'll be enough to get them higher up the ladder, so I'm going to put them at 14th. And then at 13th, I think I'm going to go with Essendon. Essendon finished about the same spot last year. I can't remember exactly where they finished. I think it was 13th or 14th, one of them two. But they do have their veterans still with them, and they have some new and up and coming players. So I think they'll be an exciting team to watch. But I don't believe they will be up there in the top 8 or in the premiership contention. So for 12th position, I am going to go West Coast. So West Coast lost Jack Darling last year, who's their all-time leading goal kicker. That's going to be a huge loss for them, but I think with the experience they have now, after the last couple of seasons, I think they will grow into a much better team. So I'm going to put them at 12th. I have a little bit of faith in them this year. So yeah, we'll see how they can do. I got them at 12th. So for 11th position, I think I'm going to go the Western Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs snuck into the top 8 by the tiniest little margin. It was from Carlton losing the last game of the season last year by a point, which got them into the top 8 last year. And then they were knocked out in spectacular fashion by Fremantle. So I think it's going to be a little bit too much for them this year, and I'm going to put them at 11th. Then again, they do still have the Bont, and he's always a reliable player. So, I don't know. I think they could finish higher, but I'm just going to put him at 11th for now. And then just above them in 10th spot, I am going to put the Suns. So I have some serious faith in the Suns this year. I think they will make a not premiership push, a top 8 push. They've got some up and coming talent, and then they got last year's Brownlow medal runner up in Touk Miller. Or actually, I think he comes third. Sorry. So yeah, they got Touk Miller. I'm sure they'll have some more up and coming stars like they did last year, and they didn't play awful last year. But I think this year they'll play a bit better. I'm going to put them at 10th for now, but I think there is a chance of them doing slightly better and pushing into the top 8. So then in 9th position, just missing out on a top 8 spot, I'm going to put Richmond. So Richmond, they did have a disappointing end to the year last year, losing to the Lions in the first round of the finals, knocking them out of the competition. They did play well last year to some extent. With Dusty out, they survived. They made it through the season. They made it to the finals. If Dusty stays, which I think he did, I'm not entirely sure, then I think they could have a successful season. There's not much more to say about Richmond. It's the Richmond Tigers. Who knows what they can do. So an 8th spot this year, just making it in to the top 8, we got Carlton. So I'm going to put Carlton in the top 8 here. I'm not going to say much more. They missed out last year. Not much has changed. I feel like with Charlie Cunro, becoming an up and coming forward, I think he'll finish high on the goal kicking leader board this season, and I think they'll help Carlton into a top 8 spot. In 7th place, we're going to put the Power. So Port Adelaide, I can't remember I don't think they made the finals last year. I think they finished in about 10th, 9th, 10th. They still have some decent players. I'm sure they have some young talent coming through. I believe in them to make the top 8. They're always hanging around that bottom 8 area, like top of the bottom ladder. So I am going to trust them to get into the top 8 this year and finish in 7th position. So above them in 6th position, I am going to put Geelong. Now this might be controversial. You might be saying, but RB, they won the premiership last year. Like, they flogged Sydney. Like, how could you put them there? They did lose Joel Selwood, and Joel Selwood is a huge part of the club. I'm sure he'll be sticking around, helping out with a few things, but I don't think they'll be the team they have been. I don't think they'll be the team they were last year without their captain. However, they do still have Dangerfield. They still have sharpshooters. They still have the great defensive talent that they have. But I think they're just not going to be quite as good this year. So I'm going to put them at 6th. But I'm not going to write them out for grand finalists. So above them in 5th spot, I'm going to put Melbourne. So I think Melbourne, 5th spot can be theirs because they had a disappointing out to the competition last year, losing to the Lions in the second round. Thank God. Go the Lions. Anyway, so they finished, would they get knocked out in the second round? So I think this year they won't be as good as they were last year, but they do still have the young talent they have. It's going to be even more progressed. And I think they will still be a good chance to make the grand final. So I'm just going to put them at 5th for now, just outside the top 4. But yeah, I think that's where they can stay. So in 4th position, so we're into the top 4 now. I think I'm going to go Collingwood. I am going to put Collingwood at 4th. I don't know why. I think they're going to be a top 14 this year. I don't think they're going to be anything more than that. I don't think they're going to be anything less than that. I think they're just going to be on the border of one of the best teams in the comp. So I'll put them at 4th. But yeah, I'm not going to put them any higher than that. I think Fremantle, oh, actually, no, we'll put the Lions at 3. I think the Lions are going to be a really good team this year with the new inclusion they got from the trade last year and the draft. They picked up a couple of good picks there. But I think they're not going to have enough to get into the top 2. They're definitely going to be one of the best teams in the competition. So I will have them in mind for the grand finalist and premier towards the end of the video. So now that we got that out of the way, we're into the second spot. So now we got first and second. I think, I don't know, Sydney had a disappointing finish to last year. But I think they're going to bounce back. So we're going to chuck Freo there. I'm going to chuck the Swans in second place there. So I think that's everything. Yep, there we go. So that is the tier list, or that is my ladder tier list for the 2023 premiership. So we got Sydney Swans at 1, the Dockers at 2, we got the Lions at 3, Collingwood at 4, Melbourne at 5, Geelong at 6, Port Adelaide at 7, Carlton at 8, Richmond at 9, Suns at 10, the Western Bulldogs at 11, the West Coast Eagles at 12th, Essendon Bombers at 13th. We then got St Kilda at 14th. We got the Giants at 15th, I think, yeah. North Melbourne at 16th. Adelaide Crows at 17th, and then taking out the wooden spoon, the Hawthorn Hawks on the bottom of the table. So now it's the time you've all been waiting for, the premiers. So I'll cut off the bottom of the list, and we'll move all of these guys up. We'll move the whole of the top 8 up into the grand finalist position. Top 8, there we go. So we do have some really good teams here. This isn't far off last year's top 8. The only inclusions are Carlton and Power. The other people missing out are Richmond and the Bulldogs. So I think it's going to be a very similar year to last year. However, I do not think Geelong will make the grand final. I don't think. I think for starters, we'll just eliminate Collingwood from that right now. So we'll move them down there. And then I don't think the Power will make it either. Geelong, I'm not going to write them out. Carlton, I'm going to write them out just because it's Carlton. Now these 5, this is huge. Because I'd back Melbourne to make it and have a repeat of the 2021 season. But the Swans do have a lot to fight for. They have a lot to make up for with their fans and the whole league after their dreadful performance in the grand final last year. So I'm not going to write them out. So I think first I'm going to get rid of Geelong. I think they're just getting a little bit too old, and it'll fail on them towards the end of the season. But these 4, this is a tough decision. Just gonna think for a second. Melbourne, I think I'm going to take Melbourne out of there. Yes, they're a great team, but after their disappointing loss to the Lions last year in the finals, I think this year with a few players getting older, struggling a bit more. Yes, they do still have young talent, but I think for now, I'm going to leave them out of the grand finalist position. And then we got the Brisbane Lions. Freo, I don't know what to do. let's do this. I'm going to say the Swans will fall short in the prelim final, and the Lions and Dockers will be the grand finalists for this year. And not a biased opinion at all, but I am going to put the Lions as the premiers for 2023. So I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to have a Freo Lions grand final, but like battle of the coast, East Coast, West Coast. Anyway, I think Lions will come out on top. There might be a bit of bias in that as a Lions supporter, but that's my predictions for the 2023 season. So anyway, if you don't agree with anything on this list, which I'm sure there'll be plenty of you guys who don't, just put it down in the comments below. Express your interests, your disinterests about the list, whatever you want to say. I'm open ears. I'll respond to every comment I can. This video will probably come out towards the end of January, if not the start of February. You guys will know when that is. But yeah, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Comment, subscribe, like, definitely subscribe. You guys better subscribe. Seriously, we're going to reach 1K by the end of 2023. Got it? 1K by the end of 2023. Anyone who puts that in the comments below, 1K before 2024. Sorry, still think I'm in 2022. 1K before 2024. I'll like and love all the comments that say that, and leave a comment that says yes. Thank you. Anyway, that's it. Subscribe. Do it. Subscribe. Go and do it now before the end of the video. Do it. Quick. Quick, do it. Do it. Hurry up. Do it. Okay. Anyway. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace, guys. See ya.